Okay, so
All right, let's do it.
is this like, I guess it's not a real episode, so it doesn't have to be an official intro.
Can it be a perimortem?
Sure.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A premortem, perimortem?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've been gone for a super long time.
Yes.
A lot of that is my fault.
No, it's no one's fault. Like, this is not a fault situation. Let's not do that.
So
We've both been very busy.
what did we do? I guess first I got married.
First she got married.
And
then she left the country.
yeah, and you were in my wedding, and I have pictures of that. And I went, actually, I think before I left the country, I went to Nashville.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You did.
Yeah, and then I went to Ireland, which was like the best experience of my life. And I'm going to talk about that in an episode that accompanies this. I'm going to talk about my Ireland trip, but it was really the best trip ever. I really, really had fun. And then we came back, and I have been really busy with work, and I got bronchitis. So then I was sick for a while. But what about you?
Well, I said we've both been very busy, but what I think I meant was you've been really busy doing interesting things, and I've been really busy doing the same shit. So,
your stuff's still interesting.
I will briefly summarize. I went to her wedding, and it was a lot of fun. It was great, beautiful, magical, special, romantic, anything you can imagine. Then came back. My coworker, who is a friend of mine, he honestly, I think of him as like a kind of an older brother that I didn't get to have, but he's only a year older than me. But my coworker / older brother friend, who was the manager at my store, left. He was working 2 jobs. The other job offered him a full-time position that was kind of like a creative, fun position. So he left, which I don't blame him for that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I was asked to step into his place. So I am now the manager at my store.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, there are like some benefits included, but other things are not benefits, and I hope to negotiate them when I see my boss in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it's busy, but it's weird because it's not all that different from, like, he and I did a lot of the same things to begin with, or the things he was doing I already knew how to do, just no one was asking me to do them. So I feel like the curve of moving into manager went, like, pretty smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
The transition, that's the word I'm looking for. For me, and probably for my bosses as well, it was probably pretty easy for them because I already knew how to do most things, and I tend to require pretty minimal instruction.
Yeah.
So, I've been doing that for a couple months now. It was kind of weird because I started, like, training to take over for about 3 weeks during November, and then it was smack in the middle of holiday season, so it was kind of like becoming manager at a relatively abnormal time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, now I'm getting more of a taste of what it's like on standard
regular
months. Yeah.
On season.
Yeah. Well, it's still kind of off season, but, like, on season, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it was the holidays, and then, like, most of the month of January, we are situated near a college, and January is when the students have winter break.
Mm-hmm.
So they were gone for a month, so it was, like, really busy for Christmas, and then incredibly fucking slow during January, and it's, like, starting to even back out.
Yeah.
So. But that's what I've been doing, is being a manager. We have both, to varying degrees, been working on a cosplay that we're going to do together.
We have been. We are going to, like, for I guess it's technically mine and your second time doing it together. We're going to do some more Sailor Moon. We have pretty much a full group. I'm a little concerned that some of those people won't be there in the end, but we'll get as many as we can.
We'll do what we can.
Yeah. And when it's fun because, like, my favorite Sailor Scout is Sailor Mars, and I've cosplayed her first and I'm gonna do a redo of that. And Mira May has always wanted to be Sailor Moon, but never thought that she could, which is just silly. And she has been wearing Sailor Moon, like the standard like Sailor Moon R version,
S,
at cons, but she's gonna do Super S. We're gonna do Super S stuff, and then the most, like, I think for us probably the most exciting part of it is that we're gonna also do the beautiful lesbians of Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be Sailor Uranus, and she's gonna be Sailor Neptune, and we've always wanted to do that, but we haven't been able to, so we're gonna do that in August.
Hooray! Girl, I had a heart attack yesterday. So I, like, the manager at one of our other stores just put out a graphic novel, and he is going on a book tour this summer, which is super exciting and great for him.
Right? He wrote
Bloom? He also wrote Zodiac Star Force. Yep. So he's going on a book tour, which is great, and I'm excited for him. But they told us that, like, vacations and, like, taking time off is going to be really difficult this summer because they're going to have to, like, move everybody around. Like, I might actually have to be covering days at some of our other stores and shuffling, which is fine, and I don't mind doing it. But I looked at the days for the con, and then, so the con is here, and then the weekend before that, I have to go be a bridesmaid again. So I'm going to have, like, almost, like, it's going to be, like, almost a week off straight with, like, maybe 1 or 2 days where I go to work in the middle. So it's going to be really weird. But I looked at it and I was like, oh my fucking God.
Are they going to let you do that?
This is so much time off. I'm putting it, that's the thing. I put it on the calendar yesterday, and I told my boss, like, it's in the future. It's in a few months. We can, like, it's too early to, like, try and plan so-and-so will work for me on this day because we never know that far in advance. But I'm like, I'm putting it on the calendar now. You need to know. It's in July and August. It's, you know, we can worry about it a little bit more then, but it's on the calendar.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, like, really push them. Like, if they try to say anything and be like, you guys knew about this in February. Sorry.
Bitch.
Yeah. They're usually, like, pretty good about it. The only thing that does worry me is that the weekend of that wedding I'm worried about because that's the same weekend as Otakon. And another one of my coworkers, he has a table. He's an artist, and he does tabling at Otakon. So if I'm going to be gone and he's going to be gone, I have no clue who's going to work for us. I'll have to talk about it till, like, because we're the only two, like, stable, like, more or less full-time employees. But I'll have to talk to one of the co-owners and be like, can you do this? So, yeah. And maybe by that time we'll have somebody who's not super part-time with us, So
basically adulting sucks, and it keeps us from doing what we like to do most, which is basically this podcast and cosplay and things like that.
Yeah. You guys, it's going to be so amazing, though, when she does Sailor Mars. She's working on 3D printing some, like, incredible props. I've seen some things. I'm super excited about it.
I am making the Kaleidoscope Moon wand for you.
Oh, I love it.
It's coming out really well. That was, like, the first one that I, like, fully printed, and right now I'm coating it in resin and, like, sanding it, so it's, like, perfect.
It's gonna be amazing.
And then I'm making Flame Sniper for me, which I feel like that's kind of obscure for even, like... But when Sailor Mars gets her, like, super form, she's got, like, a fire bow and arrow, and I'm making it out of clear orange and red filament. And I'm really excited about that. But actually, the one I am, like, more excited for is I got, and I've never seen anyone do this, but my sister is going to be our Sailor Mercury. It's going to be her first time cosplaying ever. And I worked with a 3D modeler on Reddit, and he designed the harp, like the water harp for her. And I have this, like, really pretty blue clear filaments, and I'm working on that one too. That one's most exciting to me because I have not seen anyone do it.
They're all going to be really incredible, and I'm super excited as well.
There's a chance though I'll be, like, making the the garnet key staff for Pluto, the silence glaive for Saturn, And then I am definitely making my my rapier for Uranus. So it's fun. My printer is on all the time right now.
You're getting some good use out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited. This has been Cosplay Corner.
Yeah.
It's fun and exciting. It's something we've been talking about a lot, so it feels like it's fair to bring it up.
I think it's fair to bring it up, like, what we've been doing and why we haven't been here, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But let's, like...
Also,
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first.
Oh, I was just going to say, we are friends both out, in and out of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, get to know us.
Yeah. I was gonna, just to throw something spooky into this one, have you, watched or read or basically experienced any media that you enjoyed lately that was in the horror genre?
I definitely have. I wanted to bring it up at some point, but I don't know when I would have. But I finally saw the Suspiria remake and really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Anybody who remembers listening to the episode we did that was Film Exchange, you know how much I absolutely love Suspiria. It's one of my favorites, and I was very concerned when I heard that they were remaking it. If you're familiar with that movie, as I know you are now, there's a story there, but it's not an incredibly story-driven movie. It's also very driven by its visuals and sound design. And I was kind of I don't know what there is to remake, kind of. But I would say that this isn't so much a remake as a complete reimagining. And while the story is different, it hits a lot of the same characters and plot points are in there, just tweaked a little bit. It has its own very strong visual and sound design, but whereas instead of these really bright colors and strong patterns, it's very muted and almost rustic, I would say. And it's the sound design is all the music is by Tom York, which is sometimes some of the music is really cool and interesting and good. I think my biggest gripe is that there are some parts in the movie that are there's a very important climactic scene where some stuff is happening and then all of a sudden the music is going and it's playing and then there's Tom York singing over it.
Oh no.
And I'm it's not awful, but it was completely unnecessary, and I was why would you choose to do this? It kind of takes you out of that moment a little bit. But otherwise, I have, no complaints. I felt it was really good. I was thinking about it for days afterwards and Googling shit and reading people's, interpretations of it and what they, I just liked it a lot. If you are a Suspiria fan that was hesitant about seeing this movie, I would suggest you see it. I would say it's in the vein of these more, I don't know the word. Things like Hereditary, which I know you liked, where things are a little bit moody and not, this isn't a slasher, this isn't something that's filled with jump scares, this isn't torture porn, although there's some scenes that are particularly kind of but it's something. I liked it a lot.
I'm gonna watch it. I was just waiting because I saw that it was on Amazon, but it at the time it was only available to buy. So I was just waiting for it to become rentable, and then I will watch it.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm excited. The trailers look good. For me, I guess I've been not that. I wouldn't say it's horror, but it's crime based. So and murder based. But
it counts.
So I've been watching a lot of TV, which is kind of lame, I know, but I've been sick. And the first show that I watched, I've been watching some BBC shows, and I've got 3 in mind that are kind of cool. The first is it's a show called 13, and it's about a girl who was kidnapped and kept in a creepy basement situation for 13 years. And it's about them finding her and her adjusting to normal life again, and with her captor still out on the loose.
Yeesh.
So that was really good. I watched it on Amazon, and the girl who plays the missing girl is just incredibly expressive and she's a very good actress. And that is what brings me to the second show, because she actually stars in that one as well. There's a show called Killing Eve, and it stars Sandra Oh, and right now I feel like a total asshole because I love this actress, but I don't remember her name, but it's the first time I've ever seen her is in these two shows. But that one is really cool because it's about a female assassin and a female agent who is tracking her. And the assassin is just like, she's really, I feel like you would love her because she's like really eclectic. She wears like cool clothes and she's got like a cool like French apartment and she's got like a really off the wall personality. And I love her. And the whole show is just awesome. And then the third show, I watched season 1. Season 2, I guess the reception for season 1 was so good that they're going to actually bring it onto AMC. So it's going to be a regular like, AMC show.
Huh.
And then...
What? I was going to ask, what was it? Was it like a Hulu original or something first? Or,
no, BBC.
Or was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, gotcha, all three of these are BBC.
Okay.
Then the third one, which I'm not, like, as in love with, but I do really like, is called The Kettering Incident. And it's also a BBC show, and it's on... You can watch all of these on Amazon Prime Video. Actually, I'm lying. Amazon Prime Video has 13 and The Kettering Incident. If you want to watch Killing Eve, it's on Hulu. But The Kettering Incident is about a woman who is a doctor, and she has had a traumatic experience in her childhood where she lived in a, like, basically an kind of like an alien, from what I can kind of see of it, is like an alien like choosing ground where there are like weird lights in the forest and people disappear.
Okay.
And when she was younger, she followed the lights in the forest with her friend, and her friend went missing. Her friend went into the lights and never came back. And everyone blamed her for the disappearance. They thought maybe she murdered her, maybe she did, whatever. And she was never found guilty, but everybody still in the town blames her. And since that time, and I guess even as a young girl, she used to have these moments where she would just not know where she was for huge chunks of time. And she would like wake up and be like full of bruises, or like in an alleyway, or just somewhere that she has never been before. And the show picks up where she, like, there's like a scene where she's standing, she doesn't remember anything that happened, but there's a scene of her like on the CCTV at work, and she's just standing in the hallway tap dancing.
Okay.
And she doesn't remember any of it. And she wakes up after going through another gap in time in her hometown, which is Kettering, where the abduction took place. And it's all about what happened to that girl, and then another girl that she gets close to also goes missing. And it all has to do with the forests and the woods, and it's pretty cool.
I feel like of the three, that sounds like the most interesting to me, from your description at least.
I would say it's the weakest of the three.
Really? Okay.
Because the concept is really good, but 90% of the show is just conversations.
Gotcha. Okay. I see.
It's just conversations about what's gone on, or people's observations and stuff. And so if you really like dialogue-heavy stuff, that's cool. But yeah, they don't show a lot, and it's a cool mystery, but I don't like that as much. But I'm gonna still like watch it and see where it goes.
Okay. Those all sound interesting. I know, like, Killing Eve was advertised to me a ton on Hulu, but the advertisement that they play, like, did not give me any indication of what it was about. So I was just like, I'm curious, but I also, like, I guess not. It didn't pique my interest enough to actually start watching it, so maybe now I will. Also,
the assassin is a lesbian, and there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of strong, like, lesbian themes in the show, which I thought was...
I'm impressed.
Which I liked about it. So yeah, those are just like some shows you could watch, I guess, if you're tired of all of the American shows that you may have already seen.
Hey man, sounds good to me. I'm interested. Thank you for sharing those.
No problem. The last thing I guess I want to say, like, before we wrap it up is, like, what do you feel like you want to bring to the new, like, reboot of this?
Oh, of the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, so I told you, and I guess now I'm telling everybody that, like, we had tried to record once before, just before you got bronchitis.
Mm-hmm.
And in, like, my preparation for, like, getting back in the zone, I was re-listening to some of our older episodes. And I think, like, content-wise, we were doing some good stuff. I remember you made a point to mention that, like, we were talking about things that people weren't necessarily talking about or hadn't spent a lot of time talking about. You and I both, and I assume some of our listeners as well, consume a lot of, like you were, like, documentaries stuff, and YouTube content, spooky videos, subreddits, whatever. And I feel like we've done a good job of highlighting things that are not given as much attention. And I would definitely like to continue to do things like that. But I don't want to shy away from stories that interest us just because they've been done to death already.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that part of the show is we're doing this for ourselves. You know, like this, we have an audience, I hope, and I want to respect them and present things that are interesting to them, but like we do this for us as well, because this is something we've wanted to do for a long time, and I think it would be disingenuous to just be like, well, you know, I really like this mystery, but there's like 50 YouTube videos about it, so why bother? Like,
I agree with that.
Just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. It's what we love.
I agree with that, because part of it, part of the reason we do this is because, like, we don't see each other because we live in different states. And so it's nice for us to be able to catch up and just talk about something that is a common interest for us. So for us to avoid things that we would normally talk about together is kind of like missing out on potential interesting stuff.
And hey, maybe there's someone out there who, just because we know about it,
and
we expect everyone knows about it, they may not. Like,
yeah, that's true. Like, it's funny to me, like, how many people that I didn't think would want to listen to this podcast at all really like it.
Hey.
And so, like, one of our like number one listeners is my sister, and she doesn't know about most of this stuff. So it's
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. One of my coworkers, he is maybe listening to this right now, I don't know. He helps us out with, like, Magic the Gathering stuff on Fridays, and I mentioned that, like, you and I had a podcast, and he listens to, I know he has mentioned that he listens to a lot of Last Podcast on the Left.
Yeah, I've never listened to them, but I hear like a lot about them.
I told him that, like, we tried to listen to him once. We tried to listen to them once, and, like, they've got, like, hundreds and hundreds of episodes.
That's why
it seems
it seems daunting.
And so we, like, picked one at random about a thing that we knew we were interested. We were on, like, a road trip, and it was one about Bohemian Grove, which is a thing that I'm really into and would, again, similarly, I'd like to talk about someday, but just because it's so popular, I haven't.
Well, I don't really know anything about that, so do it.
Hey.
Yeah.
But Bohemian Grove episode, and I found their, like, style of podcasting really not fun to listen to. Yeah. I think the problem was I think it was a live show, and maybe that was the problem, but they were, like, talking all over each other, and it was just, like, kind of four dudes, and it was very, like, masculine energy in a way that, like, was somewhat off-putting to me. Mm-hmm. But people really love them, male and female. I don't mean to make it a gender thing, but, like, when you get four, like, vaguely bro-y sounding dudes, yeah. But I feel like the coworker I talked to made a list of episodes he thinks are, like, really outstanding and that I should listen to, so I may, like, actually give them another shot. But, you know, anyway, I mentioned that we had a podcast, and he has been listening to it, and I think he listened to all of them up to this point, and he was asking questions about, like our old podcast name, like, how did we come up with, like, why did we choose to do blank, and, like, he said he can't tell our voices apart, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
because I think we sound pretty different.
But he can tell 4 dudes apart?
Yeah, I don't know. All men sound the same to me.
Yeah,
okay?
obviously. No, I think that I have a deeper voice than you do. But, you know.
I think you have a little bit of, I don't even know exactly what it is, but you have that, like, affectation that someone from originally, like, the West Coast has, where you, like where you put the emphasis on your words sometimes.
It's funny because when I go to European countries, a lot of times they know my accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, it didn't happen in Ireland, but when I was in England, a lot of people asked me if I was from Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I get, like, it's so weird because here, I currently, as we've mentioned previously in the podcast, I live in D.C., and I feel very Southern sometimes. Like, D.C. is still technically, like, in the South, but I'm originally from North Carolina, so I'll throw in, like, a y'all and whatever,
DC
and
is
it's
north.
like, I think of it as the North too, but like, you know, Maryland is just to the north of D.C., and Maryland is considered part of the South.
Yeah.
So
one of my husband's uncles he was born and raised in Maryland, and he's got the most Southern accent I've ever heard.
it's crazy. But I mean, I guess maybe D.C. just by virtue of it being like such a
Metropolitan.
Metropolitan. I was going to say big city, but it's not a big city. But yeah, metropolitan, that's a good word. But I feel very like Southern here, and occasionally people will tell me that they like can detect a little bit of an accent in the way that I speak. But back home, everyone got on my case for not sounding Southern enough, and it was very like, what do you think, you're too good to talk like blank, and you think you're really like pinky out because you don't have a Southern accent.
I'm extremely fancy. Thank you for noticing.
I know. I was like, so I like it was never mean, but like, well, some people like, you know, fucking high school kids are mean, but like my family would always like lightly tease me because I don't sound like the rest of my family. So I feel like very it's a weird thing that I didn't think of before, like what I sound like. But maybe I have an accent, or maybe I don't. I don't know.
I don't feel like you really do, but I'm sure it's more obvious to people who... I feel like you and I will give him the credit by saying we have similar accents in the way that we both have a vocal fry as well.
Yeah.
So...
But you know what? I own it.
Yeah. Well,
I love and embrace my vocal fry.
I don't know if anyone watches Mr. Robot, but Darlene on Mr. Robot has a vocal fry, and she made me feel confident. So, thanks, Darlene.
I think I started and then stopped caring about it, listening to My Favorite Murder, and how I think, like, Karen and Georgia especially, has, like, pretty terrible vocal fry.
Oh, yeah.
But they're also, like, one of the most successful podcasts.
Yeah.
Like,
I
ever.
feel so bad because I haven't listened to them in forever, but it's because I don't have time to listen to podcasts anymore because at work all day long I'm really glad that gardening decided to happen right now. Sorry, guys. But I do audio engineering, and I do that at work all day. I'm listening to interviews and editing them, so I don't have any opportunity to listen to podcasts. And then when I get home, like, I'm trying to spend time with my husband, and in the car, I have, like, an audiobook that I've been working on for a while now, and I just, like, haven't even come close to finishing it, so no podcast for me.
I have been listening to less than I used to. Not them, but, like, all podcasts in general, because I've, like, really been taking advantage of my time on the metro to and from work. Like, I will play my Switch for a little while on the 20 minutes I'm on the train, or I will read a book on my Kindle, or whatever. Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts on the train, but
I've been doing a lot of reading before bed, which is good.
A lot of what?
Reading before bed.
Oh, yeah. I like, am never really tired when I go to bed, to be honest. So.
Same.
I guess I feel like none of this has been invaluable conversation, but we maybe should wrap it up and move on to the full episode.
Yeah, we'll do it for real now. So thanks for listening. If you're still here, like you're like we have an audience. I think we definitely did. We had more of an audience than I ever expected us to. So I hope that you guys still have us in your little podcast thing, and when you see this new episode pop up, you're like, hey, I'm gonna jump right back in. If not, that's okay, and we'll We'll aim to get some new listeners.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Yeah.
Like,
we really will do this for real now. Like, my goal for the podcast in general is more consistency. Yes. In the fact that we were doing really well for a little while, doing it like every single week. We had, the postmortem or the regular episode. So consistency is important, and I think that it's kind of, as much as I didn't like taking the break, it's kind of a good thing because we can look at it and say like, all right, that was version 1.0 of the podcast. And we learned a lot about how our format should be. We learned a lot about audio quality. We learned a lot about our, like, how we talk together and how it's most... what's the easiest way to listen to that. And I think that now with all of the knowledge, everything that we learned before, we can go into it with a stronger podcast.
Yeah, I as I mentioned before, like re-listening it recently, like I feel like after a certain point, every episode was consistently better than the last, and I think we knew it too. Like I remember after we would record one and be like, that is the best one we've done so far. Like that was good. We did really good. And then the next time we recorded, we topped that. I think maybe I would expect us to be a little bit rusty maybe for the first episode or so, but I think we're ready to like move forward more confidently and more knowledgeably, and I think we both feel good about it.
I feel like we're both less nervous about it.
Yes, definitely. Everyone who has listened to this podcast, who has sent us a kind message about it or a text, whether you're a friend or a family member, a complete stranger, anybody who has, whether it's on our, business account, like, or on our personal accounts on things like Twitter and Instagram, if you've liked a post, if you've retweeted something that just is like, we have a new episode out, like, every big and small act of kindness has been, like, hugely encouraging, at least for me personally. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
All that, like...
I'm always shocked.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but it makes me feel so good to know that, like, somebody else enjoys what we enjoy as well. Yeah. So, definitely. Thank you guys so much. And if, like she said, if you're still here, like, God bless.
Yeah. I promise we didn't abandon you forever.
And... let us know what you need from us, what you want to hear.
If you have any suggestions about like topics you want to hear about, or if you liked a certain type of episode and you want to see more of that or hear more of that, let us know.
Yep, please. We are certainly open to constructive criticism. Don't be a dick. But other than that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do like our official sign off after the next episode. So, whatever guys, bye.
Yeah, see you next time.